following program is a special presentation of the Big Ten Network, produced in association with Michigan State University.
I'm Jim Peck. Welcome to MSU Today in Studio. Communications is a term that seems to include just about everything these days. The College of Communication Arts and Sciences covers a huge range of subjects, all of them teaching some sort of, well, communication. Sometimes it's about putting on a show, or sometimes the show.
In action.
The show is the longest-running college sitcom
in
the United States.
It's been going on for 20 years.
We're really proud of that.
It's a sitcom.
Created by college students, written by college students.
Give me another one. We'll try again.
This is the freaking sequel!
Friends, but in a college dorm room.
They were printed how we blocked them.
It's pretty cool.
I'm ecstatic.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh my God!
Our live taping's in 4 days.
And I'll tell you by the end of rehearsal today.
Tonight's our last rehearsal for our episode taping.
He's okay?
Oh my God!
So we're going to be putting the final touches on shots.
5, 4.
Putting up our set.
It is. It's like defeating the purpose of what we're doing.
Editing.
I like that growl. That's a good one.
Lights. Cameras.
Putting on the old shot sheets
You guys have to have these shot sheets in order.
so I know what to point my camera at.
Lines for actors.
How do I use this thing? And then I get up and join you.
Roll-ins. Ready to take two. Anything you can think of.
You know, you got to get the shot right.
Coming out to camera 2.
4, 3, 2.
They just went on sale like
Cut. He's supposed to be. She's supposed to be moving.
You see like other sitcoms, like actual ones on TV. Feels kind of like that.
There's a video.
Oh, click on it!
Had a lot of issues, last-minute issues, but they're all ironed out.
We're celebrating our 20th year anniversary.
It was created back in 1988 by Greg Harrison.
I co-created the show with Scott Grayson in 1988.
You know what? I haven't heard from the Ultimate Stereo yet. How are you guys?
I started the second year of the show when it got really good.
What? What do you mean, Madonna?
It's something we joked about, actually. Back then, I was like, can you imagine in 20 years if this thing is still going on?
Is it ridiculous?
And it is, which is freaky, amazingly freaky.
It's pretty amazing that the show has been around for 20 years. It's incredible.
I graduated in 1992, and I went to Los Angeles to become a filmmaker.
I am a researcher at Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
I work for My Network TV. I'm a writer, producer of on-air promos.
I'm an actor and writer.
We're doing a 20th anniversary. You should come back for it. I was like, oh, that'd be great.
We're having a reunion of MSU telecasters.
It's a huge alumni event, the 20th anniversary of the show.
And they're coming back to give back to the students who are now part of telecasters.
Your line is your introduction to the scene. I think you can sit up.
You could actually then roll onto the floor, right? And you're getting up very quickly because you have to go to work. And what's your first line?
And it's going great.
Tom Ingersoll signs the show door.
I have to cut this short because the Lakers game is starting.
The original pitch was a live comedy show in front of a studio audience with a live band once a week.
It's really kind of honoring the legacy of this thing that we did.
Started freshman year acting, and who knows what the future holds.
Kind of a show retrospective, I guess. I remember feeling as though we were doing something. We were on to something. And kind of how it's really evolved over the course of the last 20 years. I don't think we thought we'd be sitting here, coming back 20 years later, and sitting around with a bunch of other people. And that's where it's amazing to me.
What we did here instantly translated to something that impressed somebody in the real world.
It looks great on a resume. I've had people ask me about it.
People who were writing actual TV shows were impressed by what we wrote here at Michigan State.
My academic advisor says it's really make me an interesting candidate to get into med school. So.
Really talented kids get their foot in the door.
It's not too surprising. It makes me proud more than anything.
The one thing that kept us going, the juice that kept us going, is we made each other laugh.
It does really is a foundation for everything that comes next. I talk about it all the time in my real life. I only wish I could do it over again and do more.
Joining me is Dean Pam Witten from the College of Communication Arts and Sciences. Things like this look like so much fun, but what's really at stake here is shaping media.
It is. And the show is a good example of opportunities we have for our students to have experiential learning, to actually do the work on the job. But it's really just a representation of where we're going. And a good example was some work we did, some introspective analysis we did to kind of look at our curriculum and how we were teaching students a year ago. And we decided that it was time to really reinvent the curriculum for the college. And so one of the things we've done is we have created a brand new curriculum called the Integrated Media Arts Curriculum. And so the college is comprised of 5 departments. It's Communicative Sciences and Disorders, Communication, Telecommunication, Advertising and Public Relations, and the School of Journalism. And we used to treat them very much as 5 discrete departments and disciplines. And in today's multidisciplinary world, that's not how things work anymore. So this new integrated media arts curriculum that is passing through university governance now will take place in the fall. And what it does is it enables our students from all the majors to come together for a very exciting curriculum that teaches them the theory and basics behind giving messages and storytelling, and then gets actually into the specifics of all types of media. Because when kids graduate these days, the employers expect them to know how to not only use current forms of technology and media, but to also know how to predict what they'll need to know in the future as well. And so the new curriculum that's coming in the college is really launching our graduates really a few steps ahead of everyone else in the country.
Well, you know, college is a place where dreams are nurtured. For one student, lack of vision isn't stopping her from seeing herself as a news anchor.
You're going to take 3 in 3,
3,
2, 1, take 3, Mike and Cure.
If Governor Granholm signs the bill, the ban will take
Hope, who's in our class, and she was in my class last semester too. She's going to be anchoring, and she's visually impaired, and I don't even know how she does it.
I'm Hope Springstead.
And I'm Tamara Johnson. Welcome to Focal Point.
I had the opportunity to anchor the Focal Point News show today.
Tap Hope.
Coming after the break,
Perfect.
Students sign up.
Talking to Hope, she had told me that she wants to be the first blind anchor. And I mean, Hope's an inspiration, honestly. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing what she does with that same disability. It's inspiring.
Push 2, dissolve 2, Mike and Q.
It's just really impressive because definitely like everything we do, you know, is visual. You know, we put television stories together so people watch TV. We help her out as much as we can. Still, I don't know how she manages, but she does, and she produces good work, so that's pretty impressive.
Though MSU suffered a tough loss in the Final Four, a victory can be celebrated right here in East Lansing.
Do you see it go off?
Troy and I, mostly Troy, developed a system, a lighting system, so that I can look at the camera at the proper time and focus on it, so that I am able to cue in and cue out when necessary.
I've been teaching Hope for the last 2 semesters, so I taught her in a radio class and I taught her an intro to television. And it's kind of always been a challenge to figure out what to do with her when she's going to anchor.
Light, and then tap Hope on the light, and then Hope starts reading.
Luckily, Hope can still see lights and some shapes. So I came to her one time with my cell phone, and I opened up the cell phone. I said, "Hope, can you see this light?" And it took her a little while to see it, so I realized that that light was way too dark for her to be able to see. So I came up with a couple of these lights that I got from a local hardware store. Better? And I brought them in, shined them at her, and she could see them right away. So I said, great. So we basically tried to put these lights on the desk, basically where she had to look, and if she looked over top of the light and right past the light, she would be looking right into a camera. And Hope can't see the cameras that far away, but if we shine the light on her, she'll be able to switch from one camera to the other.
Take 3, Mike and Q.
Last Sunday was one of the holiest days of the year.
She has a little keyboard that she uses it's a braille that pops up and she can read from that. So that's what she's going to use in the form of her teleprompter.
It's pretty much like a laptop, Windows laptop, but instead of having an actual monitor, we have a braille display. I can read everything from right here, whatever I have stored in here.
So go back to camera 2. Perfect.
Well, I think she's got a lot of potential, and she really wants to do it. And she doesn't consider, I think, her impairment as a handicap. She really wants to try and do what she can.
3, 2, 1.
I think it's kind of cool that she wants to do this and try and break the barriers that maybe other those who are disabled, couldn't do before.
That's our show for tonight.
Now we leave you with music from the jazz concert at the College of Music. Good night.
Good night.
Hope is just one student, but does her story speak to some of what's going on in communications these days?
It does. It does in a lot of ways. I mean, certainly it's a big world, and there are all kind of exciting ways to create opportunity and access for everyone. And certainly Hope exemplifies that for our students. She also serves as a good example of the wonderful experience that students have with their faculty members as well in this college. And that's something that our students get. They get a lot of exposure and attention from faculty. And we see this across the college, and we also have indicators from outside the college that our faculty are very strong. So for example, the College of Communication Arts and Sciences has 2 PhD programs in the field of communication. And when the national rankings came out this year, both of our PhD programs were in the top 10 nationwide. And so that's an indication that we have extremely strong faculty doing important research and creative work that our students get to participate in as well.
Well, video games do a lot of things these days, and when you combine video gaming with landmines, the results can be explosive. Sorry for that.
I'm the visiting assistant professor here at Michigan State, and I'm the lab manager of the Mind Lab here.
Koribo Hill is making a difference.
Everybody is, I think, aware now of the worldwide problem of landmines.
Find food for your pet while avoiding danger.
There are organizations that are going in and trying to remove as much of this stuff as possible, but that's a slow process.
Along with a group of student researchers, Corey is trying to make the world safer for children.
And so another part of the equation is what's called mind risk education, which is an attempt to try to teach people, particularly kids, what to try to spot in the environment and just to stay away from.
These indicators mean it might be dangerous. Don't walk forward.
The way that's typically done now is to distribute photographs. Little photo books and are handed out in these communities, these rural communities in places like Cambodia and Vietnam. And the idea is that you'll look at this book and you'll get a sense of what these things are that you should avoid.
So Corey and his team are taking a different approach. They're developing a new, exciting, and entertaining way to teach children to spot dangers in their environment.
We've been working on a video game that uses mobile technology to try and teach kids in war-torn countries how to learn to recognize and avoid dangerous items or potentially dangerous locations in their environment.
The game is pretty simple. You choose a digital pet, and your goal is to find them food. To do that, you have to safely navigate them through an environment littered with landmines and other dangerous stuff.
The idea is one of the indicators is, like, if this is some animal remains that have been there for quite some time, particularly a domesticated animal, just want to avoid that.
The game uses real-life images and locations that the player will be familiar with. They need to be able to spot danger and stay away from it.
And the inspector will come onto the screen and point and say, this is what you need to avoid.
This video game uses little computing power and can be loaded onto these inexpensive laptops for distribution to children all over the world.
We intend to send it out for field testing in Cambodia, and so we'll get some feedback back with respect to how does it compare in terms of learning compared to just photographs that we hand you, as well as things like how easy is it for kids to learn, just to figure out how to play the thing.
The project, just one more step to help children and transform our world.
He finds his food and he's happy, so he dances around.
Again, video games and communications, not something that was even around when I was in school, now part of the landscape.
It is. You can actually study the making of video games and serious games, basically, within our college. And it's right actually at the sweet spot of our wheelhouse in the college. And so I became the dean about 1.5 years ago, and in the current environment, it really behooved us to figure out what we wanted to be great at and really concentrate in those areas. So we identified 3 signature areas for the college from which we now strategically move forward. And those signature areas are health and risk communication. So faculty across all 5 of our departments do work in that area, new media, new technology, and international applications. And so this game story that you did is actually a nice example of those 3. So from the perspective of health and risk communication, it's pretty obvious. Issues with landmines are obviously issues we'd like to prevent for folks. The new technology is obviously gaming, and it's in an international application, as the story talks about. It's in Cambodia as well, and so that really illustrates how we take these three key areas and we really strive to do work that will really impact the world. And so this gaming story is a good example. There's many others. We do a lot of work in social media. We have a social media R&D lab, mobile applications, games that we've talked about, as well as film and design in other areas. But they all also typically have a research component because we want to answer important questions for the world.
Also, one of the things we talk about here is collaboration, and recently some collaboration with film. Take a look.
Hurry up though so I can see this.
At MSU,
All right, let's focus.
film has been something that students have been incredibly interested in for as long as I've been here, and that's been 27 years.
And so it begins. The film community at Michigan State, it's very cool. It's a lot of people. Everyone pretty much knows each other. You know every project that everybody's working on.
Do a take and see what it looks like.
That next doorway on your right and stop.
But we've never had a program that really dug into it, that really taught it, that really allowed students to do it as part of their academic programs.
And that was kind of painstaking for me because they're so wrong, because what we have here is wonderful. If you're in the right classes, if you're a telecom major, you can have your hands on a camera every single day.
Let's see some light, just a little bit though. But first we're going to shoot it in this wide shot.
So what we've done over the last 3 years is to work together with people across the river in the College of Arts and Letters to create a program that has both theory and history and criticism and then leads to productions.
For years we've had students doing very good work.
You know, we just go out whenever we've got time, a lot of weekends, a lot of me calling into work and telling them I can't make it, like I just came from.
If you want to do a shot just like this and then take care of all the light, we're going to be losing the light as the day goes on anyway.
It's a matter of collaboration. So we in the English Film Studies department have been able to collaborate with ComArts, and so we've started a new program in fiction film production.
Can we get actors in position?
So what we're trying to do is to create a program that trains people in all of the things they should know about, which includes storytelling, technique, the theoretical perspectives, what other people have done throughout the years in making films, which is the history of film, and to try to give them a much deeper, richer background than we ever have been able to do before.
We try and make it happen as much as we can. We go out there with usually me, Nick Tutalian, and then Adam Sloan is another one of our good friends, and we all work together on a lot of stuff.
You wanted a tripod low setting, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Good. What interests me, it's kind of like the whole creationism thing, because like when you make a film, you're creating a world in a 16:9 frame. You know, you're making up a story, you're making up characters.
Oh, let's help them move all the equipment first.
You're telling a story. It could be as real life.
Well, the last thing I see is me.
It could be as fake as you can make it. It could be Star Wars. You're creating a film, and in the 16:9 frame, you're showing the world that you see and how you see it.
Hey, Sloan, close the door a little bit.
There's been times when I've been on other people's sets just to help out, just to have my hands on more equipment. Same thing, people come on my sets and help me out from time to time.
We've always kind of got something in the cooker.
Organize your thoughts. Whose blood runs the coldest? Who had the most to gain, and who has been lying to you?
No, I like it. I like it a lot.
It's actually working. We've actually gotten 2 specializations. One is oriented to documentary, to nonfiction film, and the other is oriented to fiction film.
Digital was just starting to come into play when I was in film school. And so the issue with that was that film was seen as something that was kind of way out there. It was hard, it was expensive.
You come here, check equipment out, just go shoot something, do something.
But now, if you have a camera and a laptop, you're on your way.
If you look at what's on YouTube, you can find some incredibly wonderful things.
A truly moving work, it doesn't matter whether it comes from Scorsese or, kind of Joe or Jane Blow here.
But most of it, or much of it, is dreck. And that's because people don't really know how to do the things that are required to tell a good story.
The great thing about now is that anyone can be a filmmaker. The bad thing about now is that anyone can be a filmmaker.
The student films are remarkably sophisticated.
I got hits for festivals for us.
Having the Michigan Film Initiative is a terrific bonus for us, and the timing is perfect because the students we're training will be able to find some kind of work, hook into film opportunities, and be able to put into practice the things that we're trying to teach them.
I know, I think it's really cool. It looks really like...
Was it too much?
No.
So therefore, there are lots of opportunities for the students that we're trying to train who might not actually have to leave the state to be able to work on films, which would be a great thing.
It seems to me sometimes half the world is made up of filmmakers, but here they're doing it really well. Why a collaborative project like this?
Film is a great example of interdisciplinary activity, and a lot of people don't appreciate all the different disciplines that come forward to actually create this output that we either learn from or we actually enjoy. And so our students have the opportunity to specialize in either documentary or true films, if you will, as well as fiction film. But we've actually gone a step further since the airing of your story, and now we're part of a 3-university project, the University Research Corridor, which is Michigan State, University of Michigan, and Wayne State. And we've come together and created one class with all 3 universities with students that specialize in different areas and faculty that specialize in different disciplines, and they literally have made a film, and they'll be having their debut in Detroit in the spring, this coming March actually, it's filming. And it's a great example of bringing the strengths together of the major universities in the state to do something that really benefits students, as well as the film industry in the state.
Dean Whitten, I appreciate you being with us here on MSU Today in studio. We are out of time. I would like to thank my guest, Dean Pam Witten from the MSU College of Communication Arts and Sciences. Thank you for watching. I'm Jim Peck. I'll see you next time right here on MSU Today in studio.
The preceding program was produced by Michigan State University in association with the Big Ten Network.